So passion is a term that we hear bantered around all the time. And usually it's in the context of, well, what should I do, right? If you're in high school, you're in college, maybe you've already taken a path in life, you're trying to decide where you should go, what you should do. People ask, what is your passion? Obviously, if you know what your passion is, then follow your passion, right? Not everyone knows what their passions are, okay? Or if they even have one. But because we work in medicine, even if you didn't have a passion for medicine or people, hopefully you did, before going to university, right? Before going to school, no matter what capacity you work in, you were given, right? This passion was imparted to you when you were in school, right? Even if you weren't that interested in the science, it became interesting to you, hopefully. And as you've interacted with more and more people, hopefully you have become more passionate for people, right? So in general, if you work in medicine, you already have that passion. You don't have to meander and dabble and look into tons of different things to figure out what you're passionate about. While I was thinking about this, I started thinking about burnout, right? Because if you talk about passion, you have to talk about burnout, because burnout is kind of it's the yin and the yang, and the burnout is what's always threatening the passion. My free associations were flowing, and I thought of entropy. Is there a form or a version of entropy that affects our passion, right? Where do we live, right? We live in the physical realm, okay? So we touch, feel, breathe, live, okay? Entropy affects us. Entropy is the second law of thermodynamics, right? It is the law that has been conceptualized to show how energy goes from order to disorder, right? And we see that on the microscopic scale, apoptosis, degradation of telomeres, right, to the physical scale. All living things on the planet are doomed to die at some point. Beyond that, we also see this on the universal scale, death of galaxies, death of stars, right, black holes, things like that. So everything in the universe is winding down. Now stick with me, this is going somewhere. So if entropy affects the physical world, what about the metaphysical, right? So what is the metaphysical? The metaphysical is the place that houses all the things that we live for, right? Even if we don't think about it in that sense, that is where they live. Passion, love, inspiration, ideas, they live in the metaphysical realm. And if we pierce through the veil, right, if we go through that mist and we look at that, we look at it closely, and we realize that it is as much of a part of us as our physical selves are. That is something to really be taken seriously, because if that's really what we live for, right? That happiness, right? The nebulous happiness, joy, passion, things like that, that all live over there, then that means that that is something that we should really be taking care of. And burnout, okay, burnout is the thing that threatens that. Burnout is the entropy of the metaphysical. So when we talk about burnout, right, what we're really referring to, whether it's emotional or mental or physical burnout, we're referring to those entropic forces that are constantly just hammering away at the metaphysical. What are these things, right? For us, in the medical realm, it's just the very nature of taking care of another human life. That is stress in and of itself. Taking care of the emotions of the family members of that human life, right? The bureaucratic protocols, red tape that we have to deal with every day, shift work and how that affects us physically and mentally and emotionally. Staff shortages, right? There are so many facets to into burnout, right? There's so many different entropic cannons that are just firing away at us all the time. But then the question becomes, what do we do, right? The issue of burnout is multifaceted, right? It's like mythological beast, the Hydra, right? There's many heads to that. So I'm not gonna slay that beast in one video. But the one thing to remember is that you need to have the self-awareness, okay? Have the self-awareness that you have a passion, that you've been given that passion that is special, and that for no reason will you give that up. That's the first step.